You can use the whirligig whenever you are ready.
Just hop on, Spyro. The sky shall be your domain. New worlds await you.
Hop aboard! The whirligig is ready to take you far away. Just jump aboard.
All systems checked out A-OK. Jump aboard!
Hello everyone, I am Tessellating Hexagons. Those are some encouraging words for the absolute garbage boss we're about to face. So let's head to Evening Lake. Clearly, we won't be intercepted along the way. Now, there is supposed to be a cutscene that plays at this point, and I'll let you know if it actually played or not, because in the North American release of the game, they didn't code it in for some reason.
You bumbling, idiotic, worthless fool! I ask you to carry out one simple task, and you fail me! I should have known better than to rely on a child. But don't worry about it. I'll deal with them now.
These eggs can't be worth all this trouble.
Without the dragons, the magic in this world will wither away. Without magic, I'll die. And so will your ever-so-slim chance of becoming a sorceress! Now, watch how a real sorceress dispatches her enemies. How would you like some dragon for lunch?
Yeah, it didn't play. There's a cutscene that's supposed to show the origins of this boss, and it's in the PAL version and the Greatest Hits release, but not the North American version.
My tactical instincts told me the sorceress would attack you here, so I flew in to help out. It seems my rocket launchers don't affect this creature, but I can assist you by dropping ammunition. Now get in there and fight the good fight.
In case you didn't notice, because I'm playing the North American version, because that's what's on the PlayStation Network store, I edited the cutscene in for you. You're welcome. So this boss is garbage! I hate it! I've always hated it! It's awful! Look at this shit! This sounds like an overreaction, but it's so bad! It's that one boss. It's everyone's that one boss. Like, it doesn't look that bad, but trust me, it is. Like, as a child, this was like fucking Nightmare Town because it doesn't function. It functions alright. It's just awful. It's bad. I don't like it. And I can't really say anything introductory. Oh, of course, the next weapon spawns right fucking next to him. So yeah, Sergeant Bird will drop this weaponry for us, and we just pick it up. And okay, that was luckily well timed, but still. Those shots have a ridiculous amount of auto-aim on them. Excuse me. This is going too well. Like, I'm worried. Like, I have never done a no-hit run of this boss. And in fact, I've never done it on my first try before either, so... Wow. Okay, wow. That took like a minute. That boss is difficult, okay? Like, make no mistake, let's play Curse Strikes again. That boss is hard. It was the bane of my childhood. That was adorable, by the way. But that boss is hot pig garbage. I hate it with a burning pornography. Anyway, once again, I shall blur out the next homeworld because, spoilers, we have stuff to do. Actually, no, wait, I can't do that because there's going to be a cutscene when we arrive. Okay, fine, you get to have a preview of Evening Lake, but we have other stuff to do in other homeworlds first, but still. Fuck it, let's just explore here because Bianca has intercepted us. Oh no, Rainbow Girl, what'd it do?
Listen to me, Dragon. Spyro, this is serious now. The sorceress is planning a trap for you, and if she catches you... Believe me, you don't want to know what she's gonna do. Look, I promise to take good care of the rest of the eggs. I mean it. Just take Hunter and go back home before... I can't say it! Just go!
Character development, it's tasty. Okay, so... I was gonna hide this, but then I remembered that, also, by the way, look, our next mode of transport is a rocket. Bit of a step up from this, but whatever. I was gonna hide this, but then Bianca happened, so might as well clear out Evening Lake. Now, I can't quite hear, but I believe you're currently hearing the Sunrise Spring music, and as a child, I thought that was what was meant to play here. Spoilers, it's not. Evening Lake has its own theme, and once again, that'll be a thing that I play in the end slate just so that you get to experience the full experience of Evening Lake. Because, like, it does fit. The Sunrise Spring music does fit here, but it has its own theme, and it sounds almost, like, jarringly different, like the intended music. Because much like with Enchanted Towers, it's supposed to, like, the music meant to be different, it's on the disc, they just didn't code it properly, and there is a rather egregious error involving the music that's here, and also in the boss we just fought. Now, in the final boss of this game, the final boss does have its own theme music, but for whatever reason, in the North American original release, it plays this music while you're fighting the final boss. In the PAL release, it's at least a bit better. That's the version that I grew up with. It plays the Spike music, like the boss we just fought, it plays that theme when you're fighting the final boss, which fits. And in the Greatest Hits version, it plays the music that's supposed to play during the sequence. Anyway, new levels. We have Frozen Altars, which is open by default. Down here, we have a ship, Lost Fleet, which again is open by default. And, I didn't think I'd be clearing out this homeworld now, so I didn't actually write down what the actual requirements are for the other levels. Now this is another one where, much like Bamboo Terrace, I remember it taking ages to unlock and being difficult. Well, this portal leads to Fireworks Factory, a very iconic level for reasons we'll find out later. I believe that costs about 50 to open. I'll show on screen because, once again, in my low percent file, I did go on ahead just to get a look at the portals while they're inactive. And oh look, it's a wall. Whoopsie doodle, it's not a wall anymore. Another egg. Like, the eggs are just all over the place. Stooby. Did I name this one? Fucking Stooby. It's an anagram of Bootsy. Or Booties, but spelled improperly. But, by the way, 74 eggs, and we're just, I would say, we are at the halfway mark. Like, you would have thought that we'd be just over the halfway mark. No, I'd say, all things considered, we're about at halfway. So, there are a lot of eggs in this game. Then again, I suppose this is a lot more of a straight-faced collectathon than Spyro 2 was, because Spyro 2 had the talismans and the orbs, and actually, I don't remember how many orbs there were, like 80-something? Whereas with this, like, we're nearly at 80, we're only in the third homeworld of at least 4. Whale! See, this never terrified me as a child, and I feel like it should. Also, the inside of the whale kind of looks like Nahatum. So, there's that. Jonah, how fitting. Yeah. I hate womb levels, which is just what TV Tropes calls any level that takes place in... Hang on a minute. Does that mean that if I die, I'm going to respawn inside the whale? Huh. Well, I hate any level that takes place inside a living organism, so Jabba Jabba's belly, like that sort of shit, I absolutely hate. That one I've never minded. Possibly, potentially, because the exclusivity of, oh, well, now that we've got the egg, we can never go back in there ever again. Like, you can't clip into the whale's mouth. Like, just that loading zone is now completely gone. We can never go back in there ever, ever, ever again. So, that's cool. It's been so long since I've heard this music being played, I can barely hear it because obviously the TV's turned down so I don't get any feedback, and also my computer's running, and also my fan is running because it's the same day, like literally I recorded this straight after the previous episode, but like it's warm, like it's not as warm as it has been, but it's still pretty bad. Also, I would keep going, but there's a bit up here, which I would also like to knungle, because we're here. This whole homeworld feels so exclusive to me because of the boss before it that's so much anus and, we're here.
Hi again, Spyro. This power-up can make you invincible, but only for a short while. Use it to get by these flame spitters. You'll find an egg when you get past them.
I feel like that makes Evening Lake technically the most dangerous out of all the homeworlds in Spyro 3, because now, in the Patreon video that I did about Spyro 1, which I've been linking into the end slates, like, whenever the next episode of this series hasn't been available, so, like, on the next episode button, it just links to the Patreon video that I did until I can replace it with the actual next episode. And in that, I said that by this game, they'd sort of gotten over having dangers in the homeworld. I'd sort of completely forgotten that, no, in Autumn Plains, you can jump off the entire world, and in Winter Tundra, and in Evening Lake, you can burn yourself to death, and in the next homeworld, you can literally just jump out of the world and the game doesn't even try to stop you. So, no, the homeworlds are still dangerous, but because this has active fire jets, I would still say that Evening Lake is technically the most dangerous of all the homeworlds. Anyway. I thought you were going to do the chicken dance and you didn't. Everything is sad. So we have a tower here, and that leads to Charmed Ridge, which I believe takes 58? I think it's 55, 58, and Honey Speedway, which takes 60? See, this is why I have the on-screen sort of footage of me bumbling around in the low percent file, just so you can see what the portals are like closed, because that strikes me as the sort of thing that no one in their right mind would give a shit about, but I find it fascinating. I love seeing what these portals look like closed, because once they're open, they will never be closed again, you feel? So, I like that. I like looking at that. Anyway, we have an animal buddy to rescue. It's the Yeti, just as promised, with a giant club. Now, abandon all of your preconceptions about this character, because he sure is a character.
The sorceress has a real prize on her hands here. It took 24 Rhinox to capture this dim-witted furball, so you'd better believe he's not going to get out cheap.
Oh, go and bite your own ankles.
Where are you getting all this money, Spyro? It's not just lying around on the ground, is it? Is it? Ah, what do I care? It's mine now.
Ha, fourth wall humor. Except it's not even fourth wall, is it? It's just acknowledging the game's own mechanics. So yeah, we have someone who wields sesquipedalian loquacity.
The first rejuvenating breath of freedom. With the humility of a wounded sparrow, I genuflect to my noble deliverer.
It was no big deal, dude.
Yes. After all, it was I who let you out.
Why, you brazenly avaricious, duplicitous, larcenous ursine!
Now, hold on.
One more, perhaps?
At least.
Please do afford me the sublime honor of enjoying your visitation in the nearest future.
Yeah, sure.
I don't speak English.
I love how the camera just sort of pans into Spyro at the end of all of these cutscenes to like, so what do you make of that? But I am rather fond of the whole trope of, he looks stupid, but he isn't. Because I can relate. I am a gentle giant of intellect, and yeah, Bentley. Better than Sly Cooper's Bentley. Fight me, internet. Now, we're missing some gems. I don't know where I put them. Back here, perhaps? Somewhere in this tunnel? Probably not. Huh. Well, this is awkward. Oh, there we go. Ah, and that was the last one. Just right at this intersection between Lost Fleet and Fireworks Factory and Frozen Altars up there. All very interesting levels, but time and a place. We do have a couple more commitments to deal with in, we do have the Bentley section of Bamboo Terrace, which we can't do yet because... Oh, it is Midday Gardens, plural. Huh, I've been lied to by myself. But yes, we have the Sparx level. Also, for some reason, only the 2 gem that we just got counts, because cutscenes, I guess. See, now it's Garden Singular. This is why I was confused. Suddenly I feel so much more legitimized. But anyway, I don't actually know, I don't know which end slate to use now, because technically in this episode, we did Evening Lake. We cleared out the next homeworld. But we're doing a Midday Garden level as well. So, what thumbnail am I going to use? Probably, I think, I'll split it down the middle. Have a Midday Garden thumbnail, because that's where we started this episode, and an Evening Lake end slate, because that's the next step.
Hi, Spyro and Sparx. I found another lost egg. If Sparx is up to it, he can try to rescue it from Spider Town.
Sure thing. These levels... There we go! I knew that Sparx had this kind of title card at some point. I don't know why it didn't appear in the first homeworld. Again, coding error. As ever, these levels are hard. I know that me saying that means absolutely nothing at this point after the way that last boss went, but it's true. This level is difficult. Crawdad Farm is 2 out of 5 stars. This is 3, and then the next to are just 5. This game goes ham with the difficulty. And funny how, like, okay, my mother is arachnophobic. I hate spiders, but I'm not scared of them. So you would have thought that this level would, like, bother me, and it kind of doesn't. And I've told this story before, but, like, saying that I hate spiders, like, that just sounds like a pathetic excuse. Like, oh, you're just scared and don't want to admit it. No, I'm not scared of spiders. Like, I will quite happily deal with them, whether that's, like, killing them or putting them outside, depending on, like, who's asking me to do it. So in that regard, I don't want to touch them, but I don't like their aesthetic. Oh, we have an invincible fuff. Well, why not? We got a key. I could get that green, I'm gonna call it a fairy, no, green butterfly, but we don't need it because all that would do is bump us back up to 300, and we already have 300, so I probably should clear out as many of these spiders as I can, because obviously, as we saw in Crawdad Farm, they do kind of persist a little bit. So, how far could I get before running out of foof? You just stop that. Well, I pushed my luck, so I'll quite happily receive punishment. I will push button, receive bacon. They really want me to have, like, maximum green bullet pellet hell pansies in this level for some reason. Now, once again, I've been having no difficulty. And this bothers me, because these levels are hard. I know they're hard. Like, I grew up fearing these levels. Like, I was able to do them as a child, so that should say something about their difficulty, but admittedly, they are worse in Season of Ice, because these levels make a return in Spyro Season of Ice as well, and that's just generally an awful game. Now, hang on. Stop walking towards me. Is this the correct? It's not the correct. Like, you literally cannot tell because all the keys in this level are yellow, and all the gates look identical, but that was the wrong one. This is the correct one. You can't tell me I'm close enough for foofs, and the children are still following me, but stop this, all of you. This is why I've been deliberately leaving the butterflies, just in case. So, if it all goes to the titty committee, then I can go to previous areas and heal up. You need to have that sort of, like, resource management simulator if you're going to do these levels to any level of effect. Like, you need to make full use of every last fuck of health that you have. And I know it sounds like I'm talking a big game, and either these levels are easier than I remember, or I'm more skilled than I give myself credit for, but just don't take these levels lightly. It's a bad time for all involved. Ooh, a purple. Oh, I don't know if you can hear that. Right, so where I live, they have this annual air show, and that's going on at the moment, and I managed to avoid recording when that was on yesterday, and I'm hearing it now, and it's not that bad. Like, it's not as bad as I remember it. Okay, I can't do a back walkie through this door because it's the wrong door. It's the scary door. I love the Twilight Zone. I love it I would love it if they were to make, like, a modern reboot series, but, like, okay, I've bitched before, and I think it was on live radio, about how I hate how a lot of entertainment these days is more based on, it's funny because it's based on something you remember, rather than making, like, a serious attempt to, like, recreate or, like, reboot a franchise, and that makes me sad. So if they were to make, like, a genuine, not tongue-in-cheek, actual homage to the, here comes another fucking plane, if they made another honest-to-goodness, like, genuine reboot of the Twilight Zone, that would be good. And also, like, The Prisoner and, like, a load of other classic series that are just generally good. Like, I don't like how cynical modern TV is, basically, because just make old stuff with a straight face. It doesn't have to be this funny, campy, quirky gimmick. Like, the appeal is, we appreciate that this is making an old series, but making it again and even better with the technology that's available to us now that wasn't when the series was originally made. It doesn't have to be, ha 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 ha, its only appeal is it reminds us of something we used to like. Like, if you know you can't top the original, don't bother making it at all. Don't just create something where the only appeal is acknowledging that you can't top the original. Like, that's just horse nonsense and beef garbage, which I think is a Kid Icarus thing? Is this a smart bomb? Are you finally going to demonstrate? Like, is this just the game's way of less subtly saying, hey, look, these switches destroy those barriers, as if you didn't notice that at all by this point? Now, I don't remember if the bosses of these levels regain health, and I think yeah. I was gonna say I think you get sort of trapped in the arena anyway. But where is Spider? Where is Spider? I recall this boss being difficult. Like, the level itself, not so bad. Ah, there we go. It's having babies at me. I just hate it when that happens. You just need to follow Spadiddle. Ah, that wasn't fun. Like, it's kind of a no-shit statement, but I think you're probably going to take more damage from the baby spiders than from the big one with the fucking radioactive symbol on its back. Which you might notice is also the same breed as the spiders from Mushroom Speedway. Like, it's hard to tell on the small ones, but this big one is clearly just an upscaled model of the ones that we fought before. Suddenly losing a lot of health. See, I'm uncomfortable at this point. Tootie! Tootie! Also, how tiny is this dragon if, like, Sparx is getting it and, like, it looks normal size, but then Sparx is huge? Like, what's the diddly dealio? But yeah, it bothers me that I'm having so little trouble with these levels that I'm saying are really hard. Like, either they're not as hard as I remember, or I've gotten really good, or the game is saving all of its difficulty for later. No matter what happens, I reserve the right to be paranoid.
Excellent work, Sparx. And I see that you've gained another new ability. Now, if you hold down the L1, L2, R1, and R2 buttons at the same time, Sparx will point to any treasure still hanging around.
There you go. I did not realize that was available by default in Gateway to Glimmer, but it is. So there you go, we have that ability now. So in the next episode, we will go to Evening Lake and do Evening Lake things. So I have been and will continue to be Tessellating Hexagons, and see you then for that. And Evening Lake is such a treasure to visit because the boss before it is so hard, even though I had no trouble with it at See you in the next episode, where I kind of don't want the difficulty to go back to normal, just because I like winning, but at the same time, yeah.